Hey guys, what's up? Zagatardi2744 here today to talk a little bit about the iPhone 4S, iPhone 5, whatever you guys want to call it, because we do not have an exact name yet. Now, for those of you who do know that on October 4th, that'll be the Apple event, and it's called Let's Talk iPhone, perfectly significantly saying that it will be all about the iPhone for the most part. There may be a few other devices announced, but for the most part, it's all going to be centered around the iPhone, I bet. So this Tuesday, in about 2 days, we're going to have that event. And we need to go ahead and talk about the iPhone 4S, iPhone 5, and the possibility of having a cheaper iPhone alongside of one of those devices. Now, there are 3 devices, so this rumor roundup video is a little bit more hard to do, so I'm going to be talking a little bit fast like I am now. And also, there's a lot of information, unfortunately, that I want to share with you guys, and in that case, I'll have to talk a little bit fast because I have a limited amount of time. But for this, like I said, there's 3 devices we have to talk about: the iPhone 4S, the iPhone 5, and the possibility of a cheaper iPhone, so that the iPhone, in Apple's case, can have a chance to rule the cheaper mobile market. Right now, Android is ruling the cheaper mobile market, and the more expensive market, that's what Apple's ruling right now, as of now. And they might want to go ahead and take a shot at the cheaper market with something that we would call a cheaper iPhone. Now, there have been rumors with the cheaper iPhone to be an iPhone 3G possibly, although I see that as unlikely because we have not seen a lot of rumors and things said about an iPhone 3G type design being a cheaper iPhone. But what we have heard a lot of is the iPhone 4 design having a possible cheaper memory, maybe even a cheaper hardware, maybe not the Retina display, who knows, and that would be offered for a lower amount, and then there would also be a device along its side, possibly the iPhone 5 or the iPhone 4S in this case, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But actually, yesterday, the cheaper iPhone was actually found at Foxconn in Brazil at their new factory, and it was reported by Gizmodo showing pictures of a device that's pretty much identical to the iPhone 4, and it was codenamed N90A. And in that case, many people started to think about the possibility of possibly seeing a cheaper iPhone alongside of the iPhone 5 or the iPhone 4S, like I said. And I think that's a huge possibility because Apple may want to take a chance at the cheaper market. Now, the other possibility is the iPhone 4S. And the iPhone 4S could come alongside of a cheaper iPhone, but it wouldn't come alongside of another iPhone 5. In that case, I would highly doubt that unless the iPhone 4S was going to be the cheaper iPhone. And in this case, the iPhone 4S is rumored to possibly have the A5 processor, which is very likely considering the fact that it's a newer processor. It was released with the iPad 2, and since it's Apple's newest processor and the iPhone has not had it yet, that's most likely what's coming next. Also, the iPod Touch would most likely have that when that does come out near Christmas. And it is also rumored that we may be seeing more memory, including 16, 32GB, and up to 64GB with the iPhone 4S, which is another possibility for actually the iPhone 5 as well. Better resolution screen, better than the Retina display, even though it is amazing already in my own opinion. It is a strong possibility that we could be seeing a better resolution, possible better camera, maybe 1080p video recording, 8 megapixel. That would be great, even though the iPhone 4 does have pretty good camera and video quality as it is. And then last but not least, better RAM. Now with the iPhone 4S, that would be kind of an iPhone 4 with a few upgrades that aren't a complete new hardware design. That's basically what they're saying, but it does have these upgrades in it available, possibly the A5 processor and the other things that I've listed. The next thing is the iPhone 5, in which most people are actually hoping for because we've waited such a long time that we don't want to sit around and wait any longer to hear an iPhone 4S being announced with no hardware upgrades for the most part, except maybe a better camera and stuff like that. Or just a cheaper iPhone, which is unlikely to just have that cheaper iPhone. But with the iPhone 5, we could be seeing the possible higher memory, like 16, 32GB, and the 64GB. Very possible to be on Sprint. There are many rumors in Sprint's inventory. We keep finding things over and over again. I have iOSnova.com. I've been reporting on this for quite some time. It is very, very possible that we will be seeing a Sprint iPhone. Considering the fact that they still have their unlimited plan, I think that they could have a good chance of redeeming their power within the mobile markets because of the fact that, you know, the iPhone's a very popular phone and it's the most popular smartphone as of now. and it's not available on Sprint yet, and Sprint still has a truly unlimited plan, unlike AT&T and Verizon. I do say truly because you guys know what's been going on with AT&T and Verizon. It's very likely that we will be seeing the A5 processor. Like I said, the iPad 2 has the A5 processor. It is its next processor in line. Possible bigger screen and thinner design. Very likely to see a thinner design, even though the iPhone 4 is extremely thin as it is. It could get thinner, and Apple always finds a way for some reason to make it even thinner, which will be nice just to make sure it's strong. It just needs to be strong. Now, I personally think that the glass back was maybe not the greatest idea out there. So maybe we're looking at an aluminum iPhone or an iPhone Air design, which is stated up on the screen. You guys can see the picture there. Basically, it's bigger or thicker at one point than the other points, kind of like a MacBook Air in that case, which is why people call it the iPhone Air. Like I said, possible aluminum design, maybe similar to what we see on the back of the iPad, also on your MacBooks. And there were a few other hardware designs, but they weren't as popular. We also have the no home button rumor. The no home button rumor, I would say, is very unlikely because I like the home button. Many people like the home button. Everybody is not really looking forward to no home button. I realize that they're trying to limit the amount of buttons on a device, but I think it would be annoying not to have that home button because we're all so used to having it there. Now, if they made it something like a touch home button, you would accidentally touch it all the time. So then you guys might be thinking maybe the possibility of replacing that with gestures. If you were to do that, not everybody would like the gestures. Now, I do realize that if you get the gestures on your iPad like I have now, you can actually get that through jailbreak like I did. You can use the 5-finger pinch out to exit the applications, but some people will not like that over the buttons, so hopefully they do still have that button. I'm really hoping that they do. Likely, we will be seeing an iPhone 5, a white model iPhone 5, and that's also possible with the iPhone 4S or the cheaper model of the iPhone if that does come out. But I will say that I think the white model is going to be coming out because it always used to be black model, the regular model, default model, and then months and months later we would see the white model appear. And more people want that white model. People actually wait for that white model. I have a white model iPad 2, and I think that since the iPad 2 is released with a black model and a white model at the same time, it's very likely that we will be seeing an iPhone 5 coming out with a black and white model starting on the same day. And like I said, the event is October 4th in 2 days. Possible curved display. Now, I don't see that as a huge possibility, but it is possible. I think that it'll just stay flat. But it has been taking them quite some time to get the iPhone 5 out. So hopefully there is something that they have to really surprise us all because we've been waiting for a while. And I think it would be a huge disappointment if we just were to see a cheaper iPhone, possibly the iPhone 4S as well. So we're all hoping for the iPhone 5 for the most part. Possible it's CDMA. Very likely, actually, I would be saying CDMA models will be available with the iPhone 5. I would say more RAM and better battery life. I would definitely say better battery life due to the fact that if you have your brightness all the way up, which many people do like their brightness all the way up, especially if you're outside or in the sun or a well-lit area, you usually run out of battery very, very quickly. And I'm hoping that they do the same thing with the iPod Touch 5th generation, where they actually put a bigger, better battery in there. And then, of course, I doubt that we will be seeing 4G on the iPhone 5 because it's not really 100% completed. And not every network, some networks have what they call 4G, but it's not exactly 4G. And I don't think that 4G is actually perfected yet. And I think that once that is perfected, I think that Apple will be coming out with a possible 4G phone, maybe the iPhone 6 when that does come out next year, hopefully. But with the iPhone 5, I definitely just don't see 4G coming in, even though that's something that many companies brag about, but oftentimes it's not actually an iPhone with 4G on it. Like I said, there were so many things said about each device that there is just too much stuff to cover in one video or a couple of videos. So I narrowed it down to some of the things that I thought were more likely and some of the things that I thought I should tell you guys about that I doubt we will be seeing in the iPhone 5, iPhone 4S. Like I said, there's about 4 possibilities. We're going to be seeing possible iPhone 4S or an iPhone 5 or an iPhone 5 and a cheaper iPhone, or an iPhone 4S and a cheaper iPhone as well alongside. So we'll just have to wait to find out on October 4th, 2011, in 2 days, this Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that event. I will be covering that event. I will be posting my result video up, telling you guys all about the next generation of iPhone. And maybe in the future, I will be reviewing it possibly if I do decide to get one. So stay tuned for that by hitting the subscription button above. Now let's go ahead and talk about iOS 5. Some of you guys are asking whether or not iOS 5 will be coming alongside of the new iPhone. I would definitely say so. We've all been looking for the next generation of iPhone. The betas are running out with iOS 5. They're getting perfect. Mine is almost perfect. I've been running beta the whole way through. It started off really buggy and really screwed up, and now it's gotten a lot better. So I do think we will be seeing iOS 5 alongside of the release of the next generation iPhone. In this case, thank you for watching. This is iGuitarD2744. Please feel free to go ahead and hit the subscription button above. Visit the description below. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, as well as check out iOSnova.com for up-to-date iOS news. You guys can also feel free to leave your comments and thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Once again, thank you for watching. This is iGuitarD2744.